Hi, it's Lise, and I want to thank you in advance for taking a few minutes out of your day to view this video and just to listen to some of my thoughts when it comes to the decision I personally made to work with Bottom Line and some of the thought process that I went through and some things that perhaps that you're thinking as well. I want to address a potential elephant in the room, if you will, and what I'm actually referring to is the clientele that Bottom Line has served since 2009, primarily working with the Fortune 500 and 1000 companies. And I'm aware that some of these corporations, and I won't mention them by name, may not align with your values and what you hold to be dear in life and in your world. And I feel very much the same way. My values do not align with the values of a lot of these companies either, and I had to really think through what I was going to do about that. Like, am I going to really be able to work with Bottom Line given the fact that they have chosen to serve some of these corporations that have had negative impacts on our planet and continue to do so? How do I resolve this in my own heart and mind? So that's what I wanted to talk with you a little bit about. And I also want to hear what you have to say too, if you're open to that. But what I've decided to do was to look at the greater good in all of this, and the fact that regardless of the choices that Bottom Line made in the past and probably continue to make as far as the clientele that they choose to serve, I've decided that it's in the best interests of the small businesses and the nonprofits out there to work with them. Because regardless of their choices, they're still the best option available for these organizations. And if I don't work to bring them to Bottom Line, then they could fall prey to third parties that are either unscrupulous or don't have the depth of knowledge or don't stand behind their work, or they just close up shop once this program is over, once the employee retention credit has run its course. And so it was a real challenge, I guess, to come to that decision. And part of the reason too that I decided not only that these businesses and nonprofits need so much help, but that I have a bigger mission in life, a lot of which has to do with alleviating suffering in all of its forms. And that comes down to either a forest that's being damaged, or an ecosystem, a wildlife habitat, wildlife itself, our pets, children, those without a voice that cannot defend themselves against things like corporate greed, are my causes and my concerns in life. And so I had to look at this as a vehicle for me to help where I could and to use this partnership in that light. So it's not a perfect partnership by any means. Another thing that makes me feel better about this is the fact that Josh Fox, the founder and CEO of Bottom Line, has a heart mission very close to mine, in that his why in life is to alleviate animal suffering. He's done a lot for, I know, like the elephants in Africa, helping them go into sanctuaries. I know he's worked with dogs, and most recently an initiative for an electric carriage that replaces the horse-drawn carriages in the larger cities here in the States, where these horses are literally worked to death and suffer on a daily basis. So his why has to do with these animals. And then, I thought too, it's like Josh is in a unique position, having formed these relationships with these larger corporations and having access to some of these executives on a first name basis. Now, I don't know what those conversations are about, but I have a feeling that he's talking about his role in the world and what his mission consists of. And it may just be that he's gaining some influence with these people and helping them to see a more compassionate way forward, and for them to care more deeply about animals and about our planet, and the need to come together as humanity. And that's the other thing too with this, is that we need to come together and work together as collectively and as efficiently and effectively as we can at this point to solve the larger problems that we face as a global community. And so that's why I made my decision that I would go ahead and bring clients to Bottom Line. And, it's funny, I posted a video of a gentleman, Kevin O'Leary of Shark Tank, on my website. And the reason I did that was because of the social proof that he brings to the table, and that some people will listen to him and decide, wow, this is a real deal here, and that's the type of thing they need to hear in order to move forward. Now, personally, and I don't know Kevin personally, but I know by some of the things that he has said on the media that our values are not aligned. Our viewpoints are not the same. And he just even recently said something about the poor people in the world that I will never understand and couldn't agree with. But does that mean that I take all the Kevin O'Learys of the world and just push them off to the side and say, I'm sorry, I can't communicate with you, I can't find anything in common with you? And am I doing that person a disservice? And in turn, am I doing the people that he has influence with a disservice? So anyways, I just wanted to throw this out there as some food for thought. And I just had to ask myself the question, am I missing the forest for the trees? Or am I, like the old expression goes, throwing the baby out with the bathwater? And I decided I didn't want to make that mistake, and for me it would have been a mistake. So anyways, I thank you again for listening. If you would like to contact me and continue this conversation, I would really love to hear from you and hear your thoughts on this issue and how we can move forward and be more inclusive of more people and influence more for the greater good of the missions that we ourselves are needing to accomplish while we're here. So you know where to reach me if you'd like to talk. Thank you.